nice, beautiful visual tribute.
Thank you.
I was trying to like Don Ministries. Thank you. I was reminded the theme of this program today, and certainly we know, as Cardinal Massoud said, to lift up Nelson Mandela is also to lift up ourselves and to see the goodness and all the work that needs to be continued among us. So there are people who are here today, who've been a part of that fight since 1962. Some people started earlier, but in particularly with the Free South African movement, there are people in this room who experienced that history that we're going to hear from. And I'm going, as a courtesy, I'm going to let them speak now. And then for the other guest speakers, you guys come on in. Thank you. Thank you and welcome. We'll find a seat for you, Brother Dirk. Nation of Islam in the house. And so as a courtesy, I'm going to ask everyone else, all the other speakers, to be at least 2 minutes or so, because Cardinal Massoud, maybe he could extend 20 minutes or so. We're supposed to be out by 4. But I want to invite up to the podium or to the stage Sister Gloria Rubac. And she brought as a courtesy some T-shirts from that era. After her, we will hear from Sister Joanne and also Brother Judan. And Gloria, excuse me, as you come up, Massoud has an important announcement to make as well. Massoud, please come up.
Well, it's going to be just a minute or so. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
With your permission, I'm here to give an announcement for on Christmas Day. We're going to demonstrate in front of the jailhouse. Of course, Ray Hill is here, and more information you can ask him. But I knew there are going to be many speakers, so I make it very short. I wrote it down so I don't talk too much. In honoring Nelson Mandela, first we have to answer this essential question. Is Mandela's long struggle against apartheid over? Of course, the answer is no. As the apartheid in the state of Israel is committing the same crime, if not greater, against the Palestinians as the apartheid regime in South Africa did against black populations. The similarity between the old racist South Africa and the state of Israel today leads us to conclude that Mandela's victorious struggle has opened up a new front, a new challenge for us. The question of Palestine is the same question of self-determination, freedom, and ending the occupation that Mandela fought for. We cannot speak of Mandela's struggle as a story of the past when we look at the reality of the occupied people in Gaza today. In fact, the commercial media and majority of politicians today, Democrats or Republicans, want to give us a false sense of victory over racism in general, and more importantly, they want to pacify our youth in taking a firm position against injustice and walk in the path of Nelson Mandela. When these ladies and gentlemen talk about Mandela, they never talk about the strong and effective support of Cuba and the great respect and admiration that Fidel Castro and Nelson Mandela had for each other. Nor do they talk about Mandela's strong support for the Palestinians. As he said, and this is a quotation, "We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians." But those of us who understood Madiba's message, those of us who have dared to fight against injustice, but are locked up in some small cells of thousand upon thousand of mostly young Palestinians who are currently detained in horrible conditions in Israeli detention centers, will never accept the media and politician hype about our great leader, Nelson Mandela. Okay. To committed activists, Malcolm X, Dr. King, and of course Nelson Mandela are not fairy heroes that officials want us to believe. these great people are our teachers who taught us by the deeds, not just words. For this reason, I am committed to follow Mandela by boycotting Israeli products and at the same time fight against mass incarceration in this country.
Yeah.
On behalf of End Mass Incarceration Houston, I'm inviting everyone, and I mean it, everyone, to demonstrate against mass incarceration on Christmas Day in front of the Harris County Jail on 1200 Baker Street from 4 to 6. On this day, we will also give Christmas gifts to the children of families who are visiting their loved ones in jail during this holiday season. Let us honor Nelson Mandela by our action and bring an end to mass incarceration and death penalty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers.
Good afternoon.
It is so wonderful to see all of us here in this room remembering Nelson Mandela. When he died, all these memories came back to me. I think the first time I ever met you, Judon, was in front of the Tower Theater. Do you remember that racist play that was being put on there? You and Lindy was pregnant with her first child, I believe. Lindy Yenny from South Africa. I remember the miles we marched in front of the South African consulate with Sister Ada Edwards in front of the Shell Oil building. The rallies. I remember we invited a woman from the AMC to Houston, and I don't know what the hell we were thinking. It was July, I believe, and we marched in the heat from Memorial Park to the South African consulate. And this poor woman, we were thankful she didn't pass out along the way. But the struggle in South Africa has so many parallels, as this slideshow just showed us, because I'm looking at those pictures and I'm like, is that South Africa or is that the South of the United States?
Yeah, or New York.
Yeah, anywhere really. But I want to just say a couple of things, and I won't take a lot of time. Watching the coverage of Mandela, had me sitting in my den just crying, But then, after I thought about it, I'm like, the capitalist media is not telling us the truth. And thank you, Maria. Umkhonto we Sizwe. Umkhonto we Sizwe, the spear of the nation, I think. Is that the translation? That was the armed group that Nelson Mandela helped found to win the struggle to get rid of apartheid after the ANC realized that being nice and asking and so on wasn't doing it. None of the TV shows have mentioned Umkhonto we Sizwe. None of them have mentioned, including here in Texas, the execution capital of the country, that Mandela was facing the death penalty in 1962 when he went on trial in Rivonia. And at the first Congress, or whatever it was called, I forget, after the end, and that Mandela was elected president, one of the first things they did was abolish the death penalty in South Africa. So hello, Texas. You're behind.
Hey, that's right.
The 1% that runs the media does not tell us that Mandela never, ever abandoned or denounced armed struggle. He could have gotten out of prison 5 years earlier if he had, but he did not. He stood true to what he believed in. This is the legacy of Mandela, that you fight by any means necessary for liberation, whether you're in Palestine or Montgomery, Alabama, or in Soweto. And the legacy of Mandela belongs to the people that were massacred in Sharpsville and Soweto. The legacy of Mandela belongs to the South African masses, to the continent of Africa, and from Palestine to Houston. Everybody that fought against apartheid. That's who his legacy belongs to, not these people in the media that are not telling us the truth. So I'll close, but I just want to say that I hope we continue that legacy of struggle and never surrender our beliefs, just like Mandela. Mandela.